This is pretty interesting. Ryan Grimm at The Intercept reported that 3 people who are close to Steve Bannon say that Steve Bannon is pushing for a 44% marginal tax rate on people making over $5 million a year. Now, in my estimation, this is a pretty good idea. We have no idea as to know whether or not Steve Bannon is just putting this out there so that there's a story floating around that Donald Trump is looking to tax wealthy. And so that when the actual tax cuts for the wealthy get passed, there's still a lot of people who are still operating under the perspective of, yeah, they raise taxes on rich people to give tax cuts to middle class. There's apparently, according to the IRS, there would be 43,000 people who would be subject to that 44% rate above their first $5 million. So it would pull in around $18 billion a year, $180 billion a year. Now, there's a bit of a dilemma here, right? Because do you really want to tout Steve Bannon's policies? Not when you put it that way. Do you want to tout a 44% top marginal tax rate? Yes, unless you want a higher one. In 1963, the top marginal tax rate was 90% for every dollar you earned over $400,000. In today's dollars, that would be about $3.2 million. So for every dollar you earn over $3.2 million, from 1963, and really there was about a 10, 15-year period where I think those were the tax rates. Each dollar you made over $3.2 million, you pay 90 cents in taxes. So this is, relatively speaking, to the history of the United States, not such a radical idea. Part of the problem is that even those people ostensibly pushing back against Trump don't necessarily share those politics. Now, there was a tweet that kicked a lot of grief on Twitter. Debra Messing, in capital letters, quote tweeted Ryan Grimm's news story about Bannon pushing for a 44% marginal tax rate on people making over $5 million a year. She wrote, "This is disgusting," in all caps. Now, I don't know if that's a joke, if it's ironic or not. I'm guessing it's not, because I suspect she took a lot of grief. I saw then Glenn Greenwald retweeted her tweet out, calling her a leader of the resistance. I take a little bit of an issue with her being a leader of the resistance. I don't know how many followers she has on YouTube, but did you on Twitter? But Matt, did you even know who Debra Messing was?
No, I did not. I haven't taken any orders from Debra Messing as part of my duties in the resistance.
I saw the tweet. I know who she is, and I have.
Do you perceive her as your leader?
No, I don't have a leader. Not even you. Sorry.
Well, no, I wasn't. The thing is, my leader is Bronson Pinchot.
Oh.
The guy was on, was it Bosom Buddies? That's Perfect Strangers. Oh, Perfect Strangers. Yes, sorry. He was on Perfect Strangers. He's my leader.
I have a question for you.
Yes. You don't remember? He was the guy he was also in one of those Eddie Murphy movies. You gotta have the coffee.
Oh, no, he was also in...
I can't remember.
Oh, God. What movie was that where he just had a bag of cocaine? I have a question really
But wait, let me just finish.
About Debra Messing.
Hold on, let me just finish this. The point being that, A, there's always this dilemma with the resistance that the politics are bad. And B, there's also this problem of people sort of looking for any opportunity to suggest that the leaders of the resistance. I think both. I have a problem with both. So I would just have quote tweeted the entire exchange and put, "This is gross." But
all the responses are sort of
44%, a 44% marginal tax rate on people making over $5 million. Good idea. Maybe higher would be even better, but that's it.
I have a question. I mean, from the tweet, it just seems like Debra Messing is a conservative. But the thing that crossed my mind is, and you would know more about this, is would this have a high impact on people who might make nothing in 1 year, such as like actors who might make close to nothing in 1 year and then make a lot in another year, and then it be very up and down, and so they would have an unreliable income? Is this like what would go through someone like her's mind?
No, what would go through her mind is that she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to pay higher taxes.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if you make $5 million in 1 year,
Right,
and then you don't make any more money for the next 4 or 5 or 6 years, that 44% as opposed to 33% is not going to make the big difference for you. What I would do is, if you're an actor, you want some advice, if you make $5 million in 1 year, save your money until you feel confident that you're going to make some money on the out years.
but they need like golden cars or whatever to be famous.
I would
I
hold
think-
off on the golden cars.
Yeah, I mean, I'm generally very in favor of the higher rates too. But I do think that Kelly's point is an interesting one to think about in terms of policy, because you have like athletes, for instance, that might only play like 3 years, and they have like they'll get a huge chunk of their income taken. I mean, I think you structure it against wealth.
Structure it.
Right.
Then structure
Yeah,
it
exactly.
differently. I mean, if you really want to, if you're really concerned that you're not going to have it in the out years, then structure it differently.
I'm not against it. Absolutely not. I was just wondering if, I just obviously a contrarian. Why would somebody think like this if they are not?
J.K. Rowling
conservative?
has had a lot of the similar
you know what?
responses.
Yeah, but I mean, the bottom line is the reason why people would think about this is that Mort Saul used to say everybody's a liberal until it costs them a quarter.
It's not true.
Well, I understand it's maybe a little bit hyperbole. He's a comedian, and he was just making a satirical point. But that's the point. And maybe Debra Messing is touring around with Mort Saul.
Right.
And
I
is
mean,
trying to
J.K.
prove him
Rowling's
right.
a really good example too. Matt's just way better than I am at a lot of things, but J.K. Rowling and athletes, that's a good example.
But I think
There you go.
it's I don't think
with
it's a good
making-
example. I think J.K. Rowling's embarrassed herself by a lot of her political statements about things like labor policy, about tax and that sort of.
Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos